So that one of the initiation processes for getting into that club is burning a £50 note.
Rothschild, Nathaniel Rothschild.
Mr. Rothschild.
No, Mr. Rothschild.
These people, when they do all these things when they're younger, that yes, not only are they encouraged, one of the guys told me that they kind of made a fetish out of doing as much damage as possible. Getting into the club is almost entirely dependent on wealth.
They don't know when to stop.
And its former members include the men today running London, the country, and the economy.
I am sick to death of poor people!
A lot of what happens with the Bullingdon Club isn't just sort of useful indiscretions. These people go on to maintain the connections they made in the Bullingdon Club 20, 30 years later, when they're in high positions in journalism, politics.
The World War was close to King George VI as the Lord Steward of the royal household, but he accompanied Lord Brocket to celebrate Hitler's 50th birthday. It was a matter of personal delight to Hitler that the Duke, in order to have dirt on each other so that then they can possibly be blackmailed in the future or they'll keep quiet, as we were hearing the Mafia Omerta sign. But what when these people are let leash on a country, on an economy?
By the time that I was 12, 13, 14, I was very aware that faith was a huge part of how I saw the world.
When did you make the decision, I'm actually going to study this at Oxford? Like I actually want to continue this pursuit with theology?
Yeah.
Was it right away? Did you consider a second subject?
I sort of thought about history at one point, but it was quite clear to me, I think, that theology was the answer. You know, I was very interested in it. As I said, I was just very, very interested in it. By the time I was 15, I had begun the conversion experience that I then went through for the next 5 years to Catholicism, which culminated in me converting when I was at Oxford.
George Farmer, Candace Owens' handler, or actually partner. Candace Owens recently made a claim that she has had a handler since she and Charlie went viral.
And I believe, and I'm saying this retrospectively, that from that moment onward, Charlie and I were assigned handlers.
And after she made that claim, she dropped it like a hot potato, as many of her claims, and disappeared. She has left us undone, but I have been researching a video on her and her husband for a while, and somehow I see how much this ties into her and her husband. And we are going to look today into George Farmer's history. Candace Owens is the queen of deep dive. She likes to look into people's background, their genealogy. Why don't we take a look into just a little aspect of George's life while he was at Oxford? And also, let's look into his Catholicism. Let's look into his religion, because so many people think that they are in a certain court, another segment of the Catholic Church, and others think that they are not actually Catholics. So in today's video, we're going to look deep into them and see, is Candace Owens actually someone under George Farmer? Because one of my videos I made before, I told you guys that George Farmer said he had known Andrew Tate before Andrew Tate was Andrew Tate. And I told you guys that I believe, allegedly, that Candace Owens and Andrew Tate are products of George Farmer. And that is something that we had been developing. But there is another aspect today we are going to look into very deeply that will make you realize that George Farmer is not the Catholic, beautiful man everybody think he is. People think he is such a quiet, very reserved, old, retired energy, and Candace Owens is the problem. But today's video will let you know that, no, this man has some skeletons we should be looking at very, very carefully. Now, let's start with this. George Farmer said he joined the Catholic Church. He grew up Protestant. He grew up in an Anglican household. Him and his family, they are Anglicans, they are Protestants, they were never Catholics. But then he started converting to Catholicism when he was 13, 14.
Introduced to faith your entire life.
Yeah.
You are drawn to it at I would say rather, it's very young, 13 years old, but so that's how you are. And When did you make the decision, I'm actually going to study this at Oxford? Like, I actually want to continue this pursuit with theology.
Yeah.
Was it right away? Did you consider a second subject?
It was, I sort of thought about history at one point, but it was quite clear to me, I think, that theology was the answer. You know, I was very interested in it. As I said, I was just very, very interested in it. By the time I was 15, I had begun the conversion experience that I then went through for the next 5 years to Catholicism, which culminated in me converting when I was at Oxford.
Let's slow this part down because this is pretty big, obviously, especially as, like I said, someone.
Now, I am not saying that him converting to Catholicism is the problem. No, that is not a problem. That is beautiful. You can be any Christian you want to be, Catholic, Protestant, whatever, as long as you're serving your Lord Jesus Christ, as long as you are actually doing what you're supposed to do, please, hooray to you. But my worry here is that Candace Owens' husband, George Farmer, said he did two interesting things at the same damn time. And those are things that shouldn't be done at the same time. These are the things George did. George Farmer said he joined the Catholic Church when he was at Oxford, and not completely joined. He said he started his journey into Catholicism around 13, 14. And by the time he was in Oxford, his conversion completed. So I started asking myself, this man says he is the very Catholic kind, the man who first of all grew up in a very humble home where there were Christians, and then he just converted to Catholicism. It's not a different thing. It's still Christianity. And the same man joined the Bullingdon Club while he was at that same Oxford University. People, make it make sense. Make it make sense. And I know many of you are thinking that maybe the Bullingdon Club is just this cute and soft club where nothing really happens. It's just people playing around. But no, I am going to give you videos of him telling you about his Catholicism, about his faith, about how he really sees God as a person of order, of love, of all of that thing. And then you go and look at others when you see the activities of him. And it is not a matter of, I am just speculating. I am going to show you an actual picture of George Farmer as a member of Bullingdon Club. I am not making this up. Even on his Wikipedia page, whom his wife has claimed that when she and Charlie started gaining fame, they found someone who could edit Wikipedia pages, which means they could make your page to your taste, curated to your taste, which means definitely, and this is public knowledge, it's not something that is in hiding, that her husband was in the Bullingdon Club, and he finalized his joining the Catholicism while he was at Oxford. And he also, in that same damn time, joined the very chaotic Bullingdon Club. This is not a very good club to begin with. This is the kind of club where if you're part of the chaos. It is the chaos of the world where people, the activities were so bad that the Oxford had to ban them from so many of their venues. Their activities are so terrible. Can you imagine their initiation? Allegedly, their initiation ritual is you burning a £50 in front of a beggar. How is a Christian the one who is joining a club where they do things like that? And now he is here all holy and thou telling us that he cares about the common man. But he joined a club where they were burning £50 in front of a kid, in front of a beggar as initiation. Guys, let me play this couple of videos for you to see what I'm telling you about. And just as a reminder, former members of this club are going to shock you. I am talking about people in high society, in powerful places, people who are ruling not only the UK. Please, this is going to blow your mind. I don't know how he got linked up with people who are involved in such activities. The Bullingdon Club is a private all-male dining club for Oxford University students. It is known for its wealthy members, grand banquets, and bad behavior, including vandalism of restaurants and student rooms. The club selects its members not only on the grounds of wealth and willingness to participate, but also by reference to their education. The Bullingdon Club was originally a sporting club dedicated to cricket and horse racing, although club diners gradually became its principal activity. Membership is expensive, with tailor-made uniforms, regular gourmet hospitality, and a tradition of on-the-spot payment for damage. Some members have gone on to become leading figures with British society and the political establishment. Former members include two kings of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, that is, Edward VII and Edward VIII. Three prime ministers, that is, David Cameron, Archibald Primrose, 5th Earl of Rosebery, and Boris Johnson, and two chancellors of the Exchequer, that is George Osborne and Lord Rudolph Churchill. The Bullingdon is often featured in fiction and drama. This club was featured because of its activities. A movie was made about it just earlier, not too bad. The club has a reputation that is not normal. The club has always been noted for its wealthy members and banquets and boisterous rituals, including the vandalism of restaurants, public houses, and college rooms, complemented by a tradition of on-the-spot payment of damage. So they come into a restaurant, they come and make damages, they scatter everything, break everything, then they turn around and throw money at the owner like, okay, you poor puppet, you take this, go take care of the damages we have made. That is the kind of individuals we're talking about. No consideration for any other normal person. Its ostentatious display of wealth attracts controversy. Since some former members have subsequently achieved high political positions, notably the former British Prime Minister David Cameron, former Chancellor of Exchequer, George Osborne, and the former Prime Minister Boris Johnson. And this is one thing else that was very much interesting. They say all of these people tend to have blackmail allegedly on each other so they can control each other in future, and they always tend to ask for favors from each other. It doesn't matter. Once you're a member of the club, you're always a member of the club, according to what they are saying. We are going to play all of those videos. I had to dig deep into the internal part of the internet to find all of this for you all. You are not going to believe it. George Farmer is not as innocent as many people would like it. He is chaotic, even maybe more chaotic than his wife actually is.